At it again, and let me tell y'all something. Joe Rogan has been on an absolute roll lately. I mean, I think it's only a matter of time before he has Trump on the show. Matter of fact, I'm sure him and Trump have already planned, right, when they're actually going to do a show together. It'll probably be at some point next year, after the primaries, after all of that kind of dies down and Trump is the candidate. And they're going to have this huge show at Mar-a-Lago or something, I'm sure they already got it planned out. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised this show is still even rolling on because of the things that he has been saying that the establishment would definitely disagree with. But he recently made some other comments that I want to talk to you guys about. So like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let's dive in.
If you're not aware, there's people that are working on the homeless. There's like a load of them. And some of them, they're making $250,000 a year. And they are not putting a dent in it. They're not effective at all. In fact, the only thing that I saw that was effective at all in stopping the tents and the homeless situation was when Xi Jinping visited San Francisco. They cleaned it up like that. Like, you could have done this the whole time.
What do they do to those people? Where do they put those people?
But that's also something that, I had touched on previously, right? I think in order to fix the homeless issue, you have to get rid of the people that are profiting from trying to fix the homeless issue. And I hate to say that because, people have families and, kids and everything else. You got to put food on the table, roof over their heads. But when you have people that are getting paid to fix this issue, it creates a conflict of interest. Because if you fix the issue, then now you're no longer needed. So now that creates a threat to, your livelihood. So there's this sort of conflict of interest there. I'm not saying that the people that work in these organizations are terrible people, or even that they really think about, things in this way. But when you step back and you really look at it, it's like, that's kind of a conflict, because if they fix the homeless issue, then there's no need for them, which means there's no more checks coming, which, why would anybody sign up to say, I'll get rid of my checks and the way that I put food on the table. Yeah, 100%. I'll get rid of that. Like, nobody's signing up for that, so that's just my opinion on it. It'll never get fixed when you have this type of model, right?
I don't know, but what are they going to do now? Now that Xi Jinping is gone, are they going to take down the fences and let people camp again? Like, you showed that the overall quality of life of the people that live in that city is not important to you. What's important is the view, the optics, when a dictator comes and visits, which is so wild.
Yeah, I saw, the governor, Gavin Newsom. Do you think I think he's going to run for, I'm just wondering, I try not to get political, but I'm just like, what's going to happen in the next election? I mean, is Biden even going to be able to run?
I
I'm
think
just like,
at this point they kind of have to run him unless he dies. We have 1 year now. We're in November. We're in late November. We have less than a year. Like, what are they going to do? I mean, you could, look, if Biden died tomorrow, and then what do they do with Kamala Harris? They're going to put her on the moon? Like, what are they going to do? She's the vice president. So if he dies, she becomes the president, which is wild when you hear that lady talk.
What if like Biden says, like, in, I don't know, May, he says, I'm just not feeling up to it. And then they say Kamala's now the president. She's the first female president. And then she steps down at the convention and they said, well, let's give it to Newsom. I mean, do you think that's a plausible scenario?
Is possible, but it would be a real problem for people that are Kamala Harris supporters, and believe it or not, they exist.
Yeah, but I'm sure the Democratic Party is just like calculating how
have to be.
How big is this, and what's the thing?
I think they have no cards, and they're looking at this game, and I don't know. I think they're depending upon party loyalty, and they're depending upon Trump getting convicted and arrested. I mean, and imprisoned rather. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't think it is. It doesn't seem to. It just seems like it's a bunch of trumped up charges. No pun intended.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a political commentator. I'm not an expert. It does seem like really like, why are they going after him so hard right now when they could have done it? Like the hotel thing or the valuation of the property from 20 years ago.
It's bananas.
Right.
The valuation of the property is so obvious, so off what it should be. $18 million for Mar-a-Lago, I'd buy it. I'd fucking buy it immediately. If that shit was $18 million and you were the only one that was able to buy it, you'd be a fool not to scoop it up because you could sell it right away. You could get a loan and you could sell that bitch right away for who knows how much. I mean, I think Forbes valued it. I think it was like well over $700 million.
Wow.
And Trump thinks it's worth over $1 billion. And he might be right. That's what's crazy. It's a giant piece of property in one of the most valuable pieces of land in all of America. I mean, a house next to him down the street, a much smaller place, sold for 50.
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make it does make sense if you want to look at banana republic tactics.
Exactly. You know, and that's one thing that I've always touched on, or at least recently touched on, is that, you know, Democrats are exactly what they accuse Donald Trump of being and Republicans of being. You know, they say, oh, Trump is going to end democracy. Trump is going to blah, blah. Well, no, they are ending democracy. They are doing it. They are the ones. They point the finger at Republicans while they do the exact same thing that they're pointing the finger at Republicans for doing. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, the fact that everyone doesn't see it, it's just mind-boggling to me. Right? It's truly mind-boggling to me. Like, they don't care anymore to even really hide this stuff. Like, they're just blatantly doing it in our faces. Right? You have Joe Biden going against, you know, the courts and trying to relieve student debt, right? Student loan forgiveness, right? The court said no. Joe Biden said, we're going to figure out how to do it anyway. But Trump is going to be the one that's going to get rid of all of this other stuff and ignore X, Y, and Z. But Joe Biden's already doing it. He's already doing it. Oh, Trump is going to destroy the country. Well, last time I checked under Joe Biden, you know, we're really, really close to WW3 actually happening. Inflation is through the roof. Might have come down a little bit, but it's still extremely high. People's paychecks aren't really keeping up with the rate of inflation. So people are struggling, having to take out credit cards to pay for simple things that they shouldn't have to pull out credit cards for. Crime is through the roof. Like you literally have a city in America that people created an app to track how much poop is on the streets. Now, like, Joe Biden is destroying this country. It is not Trump that is going to be the one. Like, we've already seen what happens under Trump. We've already seen it, and it was fantastic. It was great. It's just crazy, man. The lies that they tell.
It doesn't make it does make sense if you want to look at banana republic tactics.
Yeah,
I mean, when you're imprisoning and trying to convict your political opponents, which is the problem with that is, even if you think Donald Trump is a crook, even if you think that he should be arrested, this sets a precedent for future presidents. If we get someone who is not just Donald Trump, who has a lot of people in the center that say, hey, his economic policies were effective, his foreign policies were effective, even if I think he's a jerk, maybe that would be better to have a jerk run the country in a way that's better overall than what's being done right now. Even if you looked at that, what if someone further right than him steps in? What if a war breaks out? What if things get even crazier? What if nationalism really upticks? Then you have someone who is now in power that is far right, like has happened all over the world. If that happens and that person, if that precedent has been set for prosecuting your political opponents and going after them with trumped up charges, we have a horrible situation. And that's one of the reasons why we have to stick with the rule of law. We have to stick with the way this country was founded on. These principles were set up because they wanted to mitigate corruption at its base level at every step of the way. They wanted to stretch it out so no one could be an authoritarian dictator and run America.
Facts. They've opened up Pandora's box. They have. And I believe that a lot of these folks, when Trump returns to office, a lot of these folks will leave the country. They will. Because they know what's going to happen to them if they don't. They know exactly what will happen. And the ones that stay will be arrested and put in jail, and this country will get back on track the right way. There will be some Democrats that are going to yell, kick, and scream, and all of the evidence is going to be presented in court, It's going to be shown to the American people. I'm assuming live on television, right? They tried to put Trump on television and put cameras in his face. So I'm sure the cameras will be in the courts to show the American people what these folks have done, what they attempted to do, right? And I don't believe it'll ever happen again after that, because people will see, oh crap, these folks left the country and then these other folks got 100 years, right? They will never see the light of day as a free person ever again. I truly believe that will happen. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. Maybe I am. Y'all let me know in the comment section. But I have reasons as to why I'm saying that, is because we've already seen people, make those kinds of, oh, if Trump gets back in office, I'm leaving the country. Like big time celebrities. As a matter of fact, I saw an article a while ago that said Hillary was saying that as well. If Trump, returns to office, she's leaving the country. And so it got me thinking, like, why would they want to leave the country? Oh, it's because they know what's going to happen to them if they don't. They know they've done some terrible things. They know it. And they know that they've gone after Trump, which, listen, maybe if they didn't go after Trump, maybe Trump would say, you know what, I'll turn the other cheek like he did the first 4 years. Because he had the opportunity to go after Hillary for the Russia. He said no. Nope. Highly doubt that's going to happen this time. They will all be thrown in prison if they remain here in the United States, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. But, yeah, shout out to Joe Rogan, speaking the truth. The last card that they have to play, or one of the last cards that they have to play, is trying to put Trump in jail for some BS charges, in my humble opinion, and I think a lot of people's opinion. Not too many people are buying, oh, Trump is a terrible person. He's the worst criminal ever. Worst criminal ever. He's worse than some of these, notorious drug dealers and gangsters. Like, we're going to put him in jail for 1,000 years, even though we didn't put them in jail for 1,000 years, but we're going to put Trump in jail for 1,000 years because he's the worst person ever. Like, nobody's buying that crap. Nobody's buying it. And you see it in the polls. You see it in the polls. But as always, y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.